Hey folks, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Surviving Mars, playing at maximum difficulty with the Cult of Pravus mod. We are finally at that point where I think we are now hitting exponential growth. Our population is growing rapidly now that we're at Sol 200. We got more than enough resources going around pretty much across the board. And in fact, I do think that we are actually in a very good spot for some terraforming if we want to. I could totally, once I have moisture farming done, go for the Martian vegetation, plant down even just a couple of lakes, and then start placing down some lichen, some algae, some moss, stuff like that, and start slowly building up my water and my vegetation levels. What we really lack is atmosphere, and now that we finally have found the tech for the carbonate processor, that's something we could do. So the real thing that we're missing in order to make that work, the last big ingredient we need is going to be power. Lots of power, because these things are expensive. And that is where the nuclear fusion reactor would come into play. Of course, you need to have a lot of workers to make that a thing. But now that our population is growing, all of a sudden it's feasible. So that wouldn't be a terrible idea. The big thing I have to worry about in this particular video is once we hit 100 pops, which I don't think is going to take that much longer, that is when the hard mystery is able to fire. And we did set up wildfire as our first mystery, but I do want to trigger all of the hard difficulty ones. I might, if I'm feeling spicy, even turn them all on at the same time. That might be stupid as frick, but I might try it just for the lulz and see what happens. Before we go any further though, I got something I want to say. Hey, you. Yes, you. I am talking specifically to you. I need you to do something for me, but you're gonna have to trust me. I want you to pause this video and then take it to your closest loved one. It could be a spouse, it could be a parent, it could be a very good friend, whoever you think loves you the most.
And don't worry, I won't tell them you said that.
Just pause the video, bring it to them, then walk away. Don't worry, they'll give it back. So go ahead and do that right now. Right now. Are we good? Hi, I go by the name of Pravus. I happen to be one of your loved one's favorite content creators. So I'll cut right to the chase. The holiday season is coming up, and maybe you're in a position where you haven't quite figured out what holiday gift you want to get for this person. Well, if I may be so bold, I might have a solution for you. You see, I just released a brand new set of merch, the first I've ever really done. It is a gorgeous new desk mat, and it's only going to be available for a limited time, and then it is gone forever. The artwork is beautiful and very on brand for my channel, so I think this sort of speaks for itself. But maybe you're concerned about the quality because you've seen content creators shill out some cheap t-shirts in the past and it wears out in no time flat. I completely understand that. I want to assure you, this is premium quality. It is the nicest mat I have ever had. Every person I've ever shown this to agrees it is extremely comfortable. It is absolutely an upgrade from whatever your loved one is using currently. Beautiful, comfortable, durable, what's not to like? The only thing you have to figure out is, do they prefer red or do they prefer a bluish purple? Both are gorgeous. If in doubt, go with the red. It's the classic color. These will be selling for $39.95 plus shipping at epicdesk.shop. I know that may seem a little steep, but it is seriously a phenomenal product, and the art style is really, really cool. So if you want to check that out, you can go to epicdesk.shop and look for collections/Pravus, or of course there will be a link in the description down below. Just a suggestion, I happen to think it'd be a really, really cool gift. Thank you for your time, I really appreciate it. You can hand me back now. And we're back. You got nothing to worry about. Nothing of interest happened at all. Let's get back to the video. I've also been playing around with the mod a little bit more, and I think I might have figured out why my event is not firing at all. So I kind of showed this off a little bit before, but the whole thing is this is going to be heresy in our ranks, right? And the idea is, once you get to a certain population level, so at least 20 colonists to give you a chance, I wanted to have, if you have a single non-religious pop, a chance that this is going to fire. But what seems to be happening is, remember how I said it so that all of the applicants in our pool were going to be religious? I think I might have accidentally said it so that every single colonist in the entire colony is religious forever, including the Martian-born. I'm not positive that's true, but I did a spot check on my my citizens, and either my school is really good at passing along the religious trait, or I've accidentally said it so that there are no non-religious pops. I mean, if I do another spot check right here, let's see, yep, you're religious, you're religious, you're religious, you're religious, you're religious. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's been a 100% check rate so far. So that might be it. Maybe it's not firing because there's literally no non-religious pops in order to make this work. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it should be anyway, just for the fun of it, since I did write this out. It's not extremely extensive because these events do need to be kind of snappy, but let's take a look-see here. So, there is a heresy in our rank event, which should pop up a little thing here. A colonist has been brought before the high priest, accused of spreading heretical teachings. There is little proof that the colonist is a heretic. This may be a mere witch hunt. Yet if such accusations are ignored, genuine heresy may find purchase in the colony and spread like an insidious disease. And at this point, you'd have a choice. Purge the heretic from our midst, or our benevolent Lord is tolerant. Release them. So I'll go ahead and show what this is supposed to do here. Your officers drag the struggling colonist to the airlock. The death of your fellow colonist is a grisly scene to behold, but it is necessary to preserve the flock from corruption and impurities. The watching cultists are stirred into a fervor and cheer as the heretic collapses to the ground. Praise be unto Pravus, which should kill one of my colonists, but again, I don't think it actually picked anyone to fire the event, so no one's dead right now, which might be a totally separate bug. I've had trouble with this. Maybe it's an unrelated issue, but that's how it's supposed to be. And then it takes like all your colonists and gives them like a 3 in 10 chance that they become religious, right? That's how it's supposed to be. The opposite event would be you release them and morale goes up across the board, but your people lose religiosity. So you kind of have to decide, am I willing to kill off any of my colonists or not, right? And that's the choice I intended to give people. But since apparently it's bugged and everyone is religious, well, then the choice seems somewhat obvious. So yeah, that's something I'm going to have to play with, but I think I might have found it. Definitely an oopsie one way or another. We do have renegades in the dome, by the way, for anyone who was wondering. Not as many as I was expecting, to be honest, but we do have them. So yeah, this is still working as intended. Rebel Yell is doing its thing. I thought it was a guarantee that every soul you'd get a new renegade. It certainly seems like it's not. Maybe it's a chance. I need to see if I can pull up the game rules in the modding config at some point and see how that's coded. Because while I thought it was a guarantee, it's totally possible that there's one extra variable that I'm not taking into account. That's kind of the frustrating thing about a lot of this. Is the mod editor just lets you see a few like pre-scripted options as far as how to develop the mod, but if you really want to understand how this game is coded, you need to dive into the Lua. And I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm simply not talented enough for that. But Alpha is, and she's been taking a look at a few things here, and this is where I learned that maybe we were not making the science cost work as intended, because it certainly seemed like nothing was working. So she did a test, right, where she increased the cost of science by like 50%, and then what should have been a 48-hour research only became 50 hours. Clearly that's not 50%. So the assumption is that there's some paradox math going on here, which is hilarious since Paradox didn't make the game, but that's the idea. They published it, so it's their fault somehow. Somehow it's not like multiplicatively working the way we expected. Maybe there's something additive and then some weird things going on. Like you set the rate to 1.1 because you think it's, hey, it's going to be 110%, 1.1 times the cost. That's what I want, right? But what if it does like 100 plus 1.1 equals 100.1.1 divided by 100, and that creates your multiplicative factor, and it is 1.011. So, and now it's a 1% increase in cost, right? There may be something weird going on here. I'm not sure if I explained that in a way that's easy to follow. It's confusing. So that's where we have to do a bit more digging, and it is immensely frustrating for sure. But you know, I feel like the more I work on it, the more I'm starting to kind of understand a little bit what's under the hood. That doesn't mean I know how to fix it, but at least I sort of see what's going on, and I've got theories as to why it's not working. This is where debugging is kind of fun in a way, in that it's a little bit of a mystery or a treasure hunt to find where the bug is. On the other hand, when you can't find the bug and you feel like you're being taunted, well, that just sucks. Hey, look, moisture farming is done. We now can build our own moisture vaporators, which means water is now very accessible for us. So I am going to research Martian vegetation and just see if we can't do anything there. And I will now go ahead and start building out a couple of very small lakes. They're expensive to maintain, but I wouldn't mind getting a small head start. Getting the water levels up is a very painful process. New milestone achieved. We have dug a lake. I mean, the only milestone we've missed out on so far is the first humans on Mars. They brought the passenger rocket faster, but like no one else is caught up here. Like, I know I'm still outpacing the AI, even on maximum difficulty, which I find very amusing. Anyway, so this is now building up. Now, the problem is these lakes do consume a surprising amount of water. The single moisture evaporator should be all it takes to get a small lake going, so I'm not worried about it. Once this thing has filled up, you do have to continue refilling it a little bit, but it's not that bad. Martian vegetation has been researched. Good. So now I could import some seeds, or I should be able to grow my own seeds now if I want to get my biologists up and running. That wouldn't be a bad option for us. And we'll be able to start placing down some very rudimentary life forms. And by rudimentary, I mean rudimentary, my dear. It's terrible. We can see here that the only thing I'd really have access to is lichen. Doesn't require any meaningful soil quality, but does not spread on its own, so you have to use seeds. It's a very small amount of seeds, though, so it's not a big deal. Everything else, though, has certain requirements. For example, I can't place down any grass until I have a bit more water levels. Fortunately, I don't need atmosphere, which seems a little bit bizarre because I'm pretty sure that the grass still needs to breathe, but I mean, okay. We are technically pumping CO2 into the atmosphere, so I guess it exists, it's just not really retained and it's not got an oxygen-rich environment. So I guess the grass is okay. In which case, this should actually provide me a trickle of atmosphere if it's really being realistic, but it's not, so oh well. And of course, if you want anything like bushes and trees, forget about it. That ain't happening. I am also seriously contemplating reworking the balance of this mod in a major way. Because the more I sit on it, the more I'm not happy with certain things. Wow, what is happening to the frame rate? Holy crud, I don't know what happened there. It seems like loading up Gimli seems to cause some problems. Yeah, so one, since the tech cost thing isn't working as intended, I'm thinking I might just remove that entirely. And if I do, what I might instead try for is removing the benefit of the High Priest with the RC Explorers and the diminishing returns. Because let's be honest, at the beginning of the game, it's not like that really does a ton. That saves you like 20 science, then eventually 70 science. Like, woo, okay, that's not a big deal. Hi, Meteor, I have nothing here, so go ahead and hit there. I don't even care. So yeah, it doesn't really do that much. It's still not as good as having 100 science per sponsor. So it's kind of the same difference as far as like slowing down your science. Does make things harder because you can't spam out RC Explorers, but instead, I'd like to have the High Priest focus more on incentivizing the player to really get religious pops. So what I might do is actually make it so that the High Priest gives stat bonuses to religious colonists only, if that's something I'm able to do. I'd have to do a little bit of testing there. But if I can, I'd like for my religious colonists to have a little bit of extra comfort, morale, and sanity. Maybe even a little bit of extra specialization power, and then take that away from all non-religious pops, so that basically as the player, you feel like there's a very good reason to use your school and force the religious trait on as many of these pops as possible so you can get a huge benefit, thereby building up the cult and enforcing the theme of the mod. That's kind of what I'm thinking I might want to do. And that does present a pretty big balance change as far as the High Priest does absolutely nothing to help you in the early game when you're first starting out, which could be a problem. And it also could be a problem from a balance perspective where the science really is impossible to get going, and I have to change up, let's say, some starting funding so you have a little bit more outsourcing, something like that. I'm not sure. So I'm thinking I'm going to play with that a little bit more, but that's kind of the direction I'm thinking I might go, and I'm happier with that. I think that makes much more sense from a theme perspective. By the way, I have swapped all of my farms to grow the higher quality crops, which is good, because I actually am seeing that my food is starting to dip down. We had like over 300 as the population grows, which, by the way, holy crap, jumped up to 94. Yeah, we're eating a lot more all of a sudden. So it's going to be time for me to go ahead and start growing a lot more food. The good news is I have plenty of biologists to go around in the colony, so we will be able to preserve quite a lot of this food production. At some point, it would actually make sense to build out a proper farming dome with some water reclamation services. But because the farms add extra comfort value to all of the domes, I typically place these all in these domes anyway. So it's kind of like, do I really need dedicated super farming right now? Because I'm still going to have 4 farms anyway. I might as well just make use of these, even if they're not the most water efficient. 4 renegades in the dome now, by the way. At what point do we want to just start executing them? Or do we? Do we just try to put up with the renegades? We could. I mean, the problem is renegades are really unpleasant at some point to deal with. So I'm not really thrilled about the idea, but we could. Back on Earth, we just received almost $1 billion. We could go ahead and buy some seeds. That is expensive for some seeds, but I've got the money to spare, and I don't really need a lot just to kind of get some stuff going. I'll buy like 20 of them. I'll also just go ahead and buy a bit of concrete since we are still running pretty low. That's kind of a huge waste of money, isn't it? I got money to spare though. We'll just do it. Is my water level increasing at all, by the way? 0.01% per soul. Yeah, lakes don't do a whole lot, do they? Nope. Oh, jeezums, watch out, hold on. There was a meteor coming right in there. Oh boy, yeah, we do have a storm duration. The storm is shockingly close to me. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Okay. Yeah, the meteors are now drifting toward me. Hold on. This is why we have lasers. You'll shoot that down, right? You are on. Please tell me you're gonna shoot that. Thank you. And this is why I wanted to get the laser defenses. I'm like, at some point, we're not gonna get lucky. At some point, the dang meteors are gonna try hitting me. I gotta be ready. There's resilient architecture, by the way. Phenomenal tech for us. Less maintenance across the board for all out-of-dome buildings means we are not gonna be spending nearly as much as we were before. So we're gonna start seeing we are producing plenty of good stuff. By the way, we are now actually using the forestation plant to use some lichen. So there we go. In fact, I think I might see the first remnants of lichen right over here. That very small amount of blue, that in fact is going to be some lichen. We are gaining 0.01% per soul. Hooray! Ooh, another breakthrough anomaly. I'm still rolling the dice, man. Sooner or later, we're gonna get something amazing. Also, 100 colonists has been achieved. That only took like another 10 days. I told you this was about to go fast. All right, so at any point now, the mystery can trigger. There's a certain amount of like time that has to pass after achieving 100 colonists. But now we do need to be worried because the big bad stuff is coming for us. We got advanced drone drive. Your drones can move 40% faster. That is nice. It's kind of like playing Mo City Builders when you improve the roads and then your workers start moving around a lot faster, thereby improving their efficiency. Kind of the same difference with the drones. You can do more with less drones. Said it's still not like game breaking. And we've officially used up all of our rare metals over here. Okay. This is no longer going to end up being a mining dome. There is nothing new to mine over here. We're going to probably reconvert Alpha now into an education dome and a sanatorium dome, right? So basically a place where everyone improves their various different traits. Might even want to consider moving the school over here for the children. And then this can just really focus on being research only. In fact, yeah, I think I am going to do that. Yeah, that way Matt can be really properly specialized. I mean, that 25% boost in science across both of these research sites is great. I need to be making as much use out of that as possible. We finished with the waste rock liquefaction. This is a little bit expensive, but it is a method to convert all of my extra waste rock into concrete, so now we at least have something that's going to give us a bit more self-sustainment. I'm going to start working toward that nuclear fusion and also make it more effective so we don't need as many workers. Carbonate processors, farm automation would be good so we need less jobs, and thereby we just produce more food. And then after that, I don't know, what else? I guess encourage vegetation to grow 50% faster is fine? There's not a lot that we absolutely need beyond what we've got. Like, we got all the main critical techs. There's only things that make our lives easier. So, for example, more shuttles and stuff. That could be useful, right? There's obviously the wonders, you know, the large-scale excavation and the orbital engineering and stuff. I would like all of those things too, but do I need them right now? Probably not. Gene selection might be okay. Get some rare traits. I don't know. What are the odds? I don't know actually how that's calculated. Is this a thing where, like, it is actually considered to be genetic and it checks your parents, or is it just a random roll of the dice for every new Martian-born birth? In which case, can I get the genius trait? Because that's very, very good. There's my nuclear fusion tech. All right, this is going to make us very sustainable when it comes to power. Does take engineers to work, and in that case, I'll go ahead and place it over here so it's nicely between my engineering and my main population dome. The only real issue with this is it does take so many workers. There's a lot of workers needed here. But once we get things like the fusion auto-regulation and stuff, it becomes far more manageable. How did I just found an anomaly on my dome. A distress signal in our own dome. Okay, sure, why not? Scoop 11. Found in the hull, corroded by time, a capsule biohazard. Ah, yep, okay, nope, I know what this is now. It is the mystery. This is it. The hard difficulty mystery is about to begin. Biohazard, huh? Biohazard, huh? Oh boy, I wonder what that could be. I'm pretty well familiar with the biohazard symbol on this channel, and it usually doesn't mean anything good for humanity. We are almost full in our school, by the way, with children. I'm actually having children so fast I can barely keep up anymore. Okay. This actually could become a death spiral for us if we're not careful. I need to make sure that we are paying very close attention to our life support requirements and also make sure we're providing enough food. Otherwise, we are going to eat ourselves out of house and home. I don't know if you guys have ever been around children, all right? But they can eat a shocking amount when they want to. Are there any other planetary anomalies we could use that would help boost up our terraforming? Could go for a teeny little bit of atmosphere and some temperature. Yeah, importing the greenhouse gases is a thing. Capture some meteors. No, we've seen that before. Ice asteroids for a bit of extra moisture. Now there's a thought. Could cause a Marsquake, which is a little scary, but water is really hard to come by, you know? So if you got the extra fuel, that is one way to really turbocharge things. We're making 0.04% per soul. Atrocious. Here's the fusion auto-regulation done, by the way. Definitely worth getting this in there. We should drastically cut down the number of jobs we need. And the real benefit of this is it takes less workers to bring about more power. So the amount of power we're getting per worker right now is about to jump significantly from 132 up to 160 for the same number of workers. There you go. So the carbonate processor will be the next thing we're working on. We can go ahead and get the farm automation. We're going to need that, by the way, pretty soon. And then growth simulators, I just kind of figure I might as well. I mean, we were making about 6,000 science at the time, so that was pretty darn good. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and continue with wildfire. Contamination! We've lost one of our scientific facilities in a disturbing set of events. We're still investigating the cause, but there are clues which lead to unsettling conclusions. It appears that there is indeed some sort of a biohazard spreading throughout the building. Actually, we just lost both of our Hawking Institutes. Oh no. Scientists, were you not using the proper procedures? There we go. Now we're back up to having about 6,000 science per soul. Yep, and this is one of the things about like the RC Explorers. Yeah, I could mass produce a bunch of them to take advantage of the High Priest ability right now as it's currently coded, but like why? Because once you get to the late game stage where you would be able to start mass producing those, it is so much better just to go ahead and have a bunch of specialists doing the job. You know what I mean? By the way, I have decided we're going to go ahead and be extra zany. I'm going to go and set up a new mystery. Which one? We're already going to be doing Wildfire. So that means Metatron, Marsgate, and The Last War. Let's go ahead and start at Marsgate. Why not? Boom. I assume we will see a trigger for that soon, so it's probably started the countdown timer. It would be fun to have all of them going consecutively, but I want to have them staggered just a little bit, otherwise I might be setting myself up for horrible failure. Population's up to 117 now. Dear God. Look how many middle-aged people we have. 56, well now 55. Because we delayed them converting into seniors. Yeah, you always see a huge shift in your distribution curve with your population when you get the gene adaptation. Or, no, what was the thing called? The stem cell stuff, right? Yeah, stem reconstruction. It's so good. Definitely one of the best techs in the game. And here we go with the next stage. Wildfire infection. Medical reports a number of colonists have contracted an unknown disease. A form of hypercoagulation. Anticoagulant medicines have been issued, but the symptoms remain. I'll inform Earth Control to enact decontamination protocols on any cargo we send, and several colonists have become infected. Oh no. Whoop. The renegades stole things. Yep. This is going to be a thing. We have 7 renegades in the dome now. Oh man, I'm really tempted to throw them out an airlock. It'd be fun. I don't tolerate any dissidents in my cult. Except for when I do. Which, if you ever go to the Discord, you will realize, yeah, actually, I tolerate a lot of dissidents. Like, way more than I probably should. Gears of crime! Oh, all factories must be closed due to sabotage. Fortunately, there's only 3 of them, but still, that was very mean and unnecessary. Hey, we can finally start working on getting some atmospheric processing. Usually worth placing this close to where a subsurface heater is going to be, if you can find a space for it, which I cannot. Maybe I'll end up building one, like, out over here or something, you know? Another subsurface heater, more domes, and a triple electric scrubber or something. I don't know. You can also just turn this off whenever there's cold wave, and that's fine. Meh, I'll just go ahead and place this over here. It's fine. It's worth placing a scrubber over here anyway. The fusion reactor takes electronics, so it would actually be more efficient to have a triple electric scrubber that I maintain with less electronics, and this thing never needs to go into disrepair. Also, am I wrong that the mystery here has not started? Did Marsgate not start? Because I thought I told it to start, and it feels like nothing's happened. Like, surely by now, we would have gotten the event if it was going to fire, right? Let's try... Which one did I start, actually? The Last War or Mars Gate? I think I did Mars Gate. Let's try starting the Last War as well. Oh, wait, no, frick! Just as I... Oh, God. Okay, well, just as I did that, literally seconds later, there it is. All right, so we just triggered the third event. They're all hitting now, whether I like it or not. We've observed an unknown object on a rapid trajectory from Earth towards Mars. We've contacted our partners back on Earth, but so far received no insight as to the mysterious object. Pester them until we get some answers. Yeah, be that squeaky wheel. All right, 3 hard events are going to be hitting us in this video all at once. Oh, this is going to be great. I'm very disturbed by how bad the frame drops are right now. Not totally sure what's going on there. I don't recall this being as much of an issue the last time I played this, but I could be wrong. Mars is aflame! We have to face it. We cannot stop this infection. No matter what we do, it keeps spreading across the colony like a wildfire, hence the name we've given it. All right, we can't isolate it. We've run out of options. We must find a solution. The answer is to research something. Why has no one considered using science? Don't ask me, I really couldn't tell you. Anyway, there's our carbonate processor. Boom. Oh, it doesn't take 120 power, it takes 50. All right, I may have slightly overestimated how nasty it is. Still, it's still very slowly gonna be boosting up our atmosphere. 0.4 per soul. It's okay. I mean, it's certainly better than the freaking water and vegetation. I'm gonna go ahead and try to capture an ice asteroid. I don't know, it's fun. The farm automation tech is about to be done. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and spend this everywhere because now we're going to get a lot more value out of every individual farm. Exactly the same as the fusion auto-regulators, it just takes less workers to get better results. It's just great. Now that we're having a problem with food, but for reasons I'm sure you'll understand pretty soon with the wildfire event, we're going to need some really good farming. I also did place down a concrete plant. So we're now using waste rock at the concrete plant and at our carbonate processor in order to start getting more concrete and start boosting up the atmosphere of the planet. We'll see how that goes. Marsgate Esocore. Please be advised that object 6EZ-3 will be operating within a respectful distance of your mission. Do not approach under any circumstance. I don't know who these guys think they are, but I ain't gonna stand for it. We're gonna tamper with their stuff. And it's going to trigger some problems, I'm sure. Gene selection is now done, so hopefully we get some nice rare traits out of our colonists. We could nuke the polar ice caps if you really want to boost up the water on the planet, which is tempting. I think I'd rather go ahead and get the Amplify upgrade for all terraforming. Cost me a lot of power, but greatly increases the speed at which we can get our atmosphere and our heat up and running. Sadly, not so much with the water. There's nothing to amplify there. I'm also going to go ahead and start researching things like the dome streamlining and also the oval dome. It'd be fun to build some of those, and we are pretty rapidly filling out all of our space in the Cortex Dome. We got a lot of infected colonists so far, by the way. The thing about infections is what it does is it slowly reduces their health over time. As long as you have sufficient medical services that people can go and visit and boost their health back up, it's not that big of a deal. So right now our average health in most places is going to be somewhere around like 80 to 95-ish. So down, but not atrocious. I'm not really worried about the infection part of things, but this is going to be a constant threat to us. What kind of motives do we have here at Marsgate? Let's see, they made impact on the surface not far from us. They're patrolling the area. We can't quite figure out why. Questions we can't answer. Our Earth partners have fallen short on picking up any new information and are planning to take the issue to the UN. Yes, can you imagine the cult of Pravus going straight to the UN to denounce some company for doing something a little bit sinister? Oh man, wouldn't that be funny? Can we actually see it? Yeah, there it is. It's way over here. Yep, experimental vehicle. Just roaming around. You know, don't mind me. I'm not doing anything suspicious. Not at all. To which I say, I'm pretty sure you're violating my sovereign territory, but okay. Don't you know I claimed Mars in the name of Pravus? This entire planet is mine as far as I'm concerned. I'm trying to think where I might want to place some additional domes in the future. If we can get the temperature of the planet up high enough that this permafrost goes away, I could see this being a really good spot. You got double research sites, again worth about 25%. You got a lot of rare metals in this area, including a deep deposit. Plenty of deep metals over here. Another research site I didn't even notice over there. Okay. A deep water supply. Well, it's not deep, but it's got a lot. Concrete block. Yeah, this would be very, very good. There's all the stuff we would need for success right here. It's just it would cost me so much power to keep this area up and running. Right now, it's not worth it. And I'm not really worried about placing next to vistas this time around because well, I mean, vistas don't matter anymore. My population growth is skyrocketing. Whoa, Marsquake. All right, we got a nice asteroid, but some stuff just blew up. Well, that was unfortunate. But hey, we accomplished another special project, milestone achieved. Yay! And honestly, that 5% jump is pretty substantial. Anyway, the reason I was thinking about doing some more expansion at some point soon is I don't have a source of rare metals anymore. Which isn't inherently a problem yet, but it's not something we can import from Earth, and if we ever run out of this stuff, I can't manufacture my own electronics. And we do still have pretty substantial electronics maintenance costs. So that's kind of one of the most important things for us to stay on top of. If we ever stop producing electronics, I have to buy them, and that'll be very, very unpleasant. Terraforming amplification is done. Let's spend the polymers boosting up the terraforming by a whopping 50%. Another breakthrough anomaly. Oh my god, they still exist. How many more are on this planet? Is this the last one? There might be one or even two more of them. There are a set number of breakthroughs on most maps. I just don't remember what that number is. Wildfire countdown to extinction. The worst has happened. Wildfire has infected Earth. Oh no, is that our problem? Look, Earth can die as far as I'm concerned. We've got our own planet, but no, we're gonna have to save Earth. Discover the wildfire cure and supply it to Earth. All right. So right now we are currently contained. At least it says that. When do we get the option to research a new technology? I think it's going to be under the breakthroughs at some point. Maybe we just have to be patient. Let it do its thing. We've discovered a new breakthrough, lake vaporators. Ooh! Hold the phone! All right, lake pumps are self-sufficient and don't need to be supplied with water. This means I can place these down everywhere. I mean, factor in that I've got these, like, landscaping nanites. I could literally place these all over the place and just turn all of Mars into a swamp. Yes, Shrek would approve. That's actually gonna be a very high priority for me. This is gonna be the fastest water generation on a planet I've ever had. And with enough water, I'll be able to start placing down more forestation plants all over the place. Yeah. This is gonna be the way to go. We may wanna consider getting a farming dome at some point pretty soon, by the way. I'm gonna need to start manufacturing a huge amount of seeds. To that extent, let's just sort of think through what I might want, including, let's say, another passage. Is that unnecessary? I don't think it's so bad. We can set up a passage over here. I can hear my son, by the way, my little 19-month-old son, just leaning against the door of my office. He's not banging, he's not calling for me, but he knows I'm in here, and he's just running his hands all over the wood. It's like, all right, bud. All right, that's cute. I will be done in, oh god, probably like 2 hours. It's like the gentlest knocking I've ever heard. He's being so calm about it, but he's like, I know you're in there. I want you. All right, new dome going up. What should we call this one? It's going to be Unstoppable, which is actually more of a Discord name, but that's fine. Once again, thank you for your support. All right, let's plan this out for a mass farming operation. We'll, of course, want some nice, comfortable homes over here. But I guess, technically speaking, we don't have to do the living complex. We could just do the living quarters. It doesn't get you quite as many residential slots, but it's good enough. I will place down a water reclamation system. Oh, I haven't even researched that yet. Hold on, that's an easy fix. That's very fast. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms. Seem excessive? It's fine. There we go. Quick little water reclamation system, since we will be using a lot of water here. And we finished discovering the entire terraforming tree here. Okay, so all that's left is discovering 6 more techs in recon and expansion, and we have discovered everything in the game. By the way, have we noticed that the ExoCorp has apparently sent 4 experimental vehicles over here? I'm just saying, I am filled with suspicion. Yeah, there we go, a silent invasion. More objects have parachuted and made landfall. They're totally silent about this one. This is totally an invasion, dude. Look, my cult is accustomed to being oppressed, okay? This is nothing new, we can handle this. And we ran out of concrete over here. Really? Wow, okay. Call me crazy, but I think we may have reached the point of the game where it makes sense to be getting things like shuttles. Because we now need to have long-distance travel in order to get all of our other resources. So let's go ahead and place down a shuttle hub. And we should also research the other upgrades, more cargo capacity, and more shuttles in general. Take it or leave it, says Marsgate. They propose a deal. We fix one of their malfunctioning rovers and provide generous funding. Not suspicious at all. I can handle that. Where is it? Over. Oh, it's not even far. Hold on, I'm like right next to it. Let me just give it a little tinker. maybe take a look under the hood, see what the heck is going on. Shuttle hub is built. Let's go ahead and build as many as we can, which for now is only 3. It's not much. Not that we can do anything with the dust storm right now anyway, but they'll be very useful for just flying around and maintaining some things, like, you know, concrete extractors. By the way, I've used up almost all my electronics. Uh-oh. Right, we need to get some more workers over here. Admittedly, I did just kind of spend a ton of it getting automation upgrades, but it's going to be worth it eventually. You know, we might even want to consider setting up a expeditionary dome somewhere out over here just to get things like the underground rare metals. Didn't we have like a super source of it? Yeah, we did. Down over here, 1,000 rare metals in this area. So setting up a dome down over here would probably be an okay idea. I don't love splitting up the population, but we might need to. And I'm going to go ahead and start doing this now. Let's be preemptive about it. If you wait until it's too late, you are a fool. So we'll go ahead and set up some quick universal storage and stuff over here. The shuttles will bring everything we need. I just need to bring down an RC commander. Quenching the flames! Alright, a wildfire cure research is now available. Every new constructed medical building reduces the cost. Fun. Not strictly necessary, but, you know, fun, whatever. I mean, how expensive is it? 90,000! Alright, we might need to build a bunch of just infirmaries for the frick of it. Let's place a whole bunch of unnecessary infirmaries around here. Is it wasteful? No, because it is totally worth removing that 90% down to something manageable. Did it work? Alright, cost us down to 76% now. We could build a whole bunch more of them. Question, if I just delete them and just keep rebuilding them, does that work? Or does deleting one of these, like, actually bring the cost back up? It does not change. Okay, so we can just keep rebuilding in this spot. It's fine. Okay, we've now reached endemic levels with the wildfire. People on Earth are desperate. Export prices go up for a while. Yeah, well, good thing is I'm not importing anything, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's go ahead and start extracting some concrete over here. And I'm gonna need a rare metals extractor up over here, and then we need to get some housing and all sorts of other things over here. This has to be a pretty self-sufficient dome. Honestly, a micro dome probably would have been fine now that I think about it. I don't know why I placed down a small dome. That was kind of unnecessary. Oh well. In fact, would it be stupid just to go ahead and tear this down? Would that be dumb? No, once it's built, right? That's it? Yeah, I think that's it. It is what it is. All right, maybe we can make use of this in the future. Maybe we can just accept the rebel yell. I don't know. We're gonna be naming this dome Zealotus, which I just think is a perfect name for this whole series, don't you? Yeah, I think so. All right, so what is our new breakthrough? Service bots. This one is actually quite great. Oh, yes. Yes. All non-medical service buildings no longer need workers. Means I will never need non-specialized workers again. This would be huge for us. And the last war has now triggered. We have devastating news from Earth. A chain of attacks have reduced the major temples and landmarks of Southeast Asia. All right, so that is number 3, well on the way. So, with this being a problem, now I have to find ways of keeping tension from reaching 100%. We're basically entering into a kind of Cold War. Solve issues on Earth, and tensions will go down. Which probably means I'm going to need to do a lot of exporting of materials back to Earth or something. Oop, and a colonist actually died. Ooh, of the infection. Was not expecting that, if I'm completely honest with you. Anyway, we are now producing our rare metals again, at least, so that's a thing. Didn't the game say that I could reduce the wildfire cure cost by 50%? Because it seems to be stuck at 25%. I've been working new buildings, and it is not doing the job. I guess we're just gonna have to plow through it. I mean, in 2 souls, about 3 souls, we should be finished with it. More colonists dying of the infection. Yeah, the infection appears to be just getting worse, straight up. And the next event for Marsgate, fixing a perfect design. An anomaly has appeared next to one of their malfunctioned vehicles. What an interesting opportunity this shall be. We're gonna open you up and find out exactly how you tick. God, 4 more died. And we have vigilante justice from the renegades. Come on. Okay. Several renegades have been pushed to their deaths during the night. Oh, wait, one of my officers just straight out murdered all the renegades. You've done us all a favor. I'm just gonna let him go. I mean, that's unjust as heck. I'm aware of this. But at the same time, you shouldn't be renegades. Knock it off. Let's go run another planetary anomaly. This is gonna get me some emergency science, hopefully speed things up. And we have learned about what's happening here with Marsgate. All right, there's a man out there with so much knowledge he can't be touched. A quick scan of mysterious vehicle was enough to encounter several design flaws that made it comically ill-equipped for Mars. However, the scan also revealed a poor attempt to disguise the true nature of the rovers. They are military rovers. They want to turn Mars into a military testing ground. We could expose it, we could blackmail them, or we are going to just ignore it. Nah, we're gonna go ahead and just, say, nope, look what they're doing, guys. They're trying to turn Mars into their own personal testing ground. This is not Nevada. Knock it off. Up, and the vigilante strikes again. It's Batman, Gamma 1. Go kill all those renegades. I don't even want them. Okay, we've got some opportunities to reduce war tension. Constrain war tension, increase to 5%. Or Earth won't change, 50 new applicants, and war tension goes up further. Okay, we can make a statement. I don't know exactly what this is going to do for us, but sure, increase only to 5%, please. Finally, we have a cure. Okay, so tremendous news. The cure has been discovered. All we have to do is genetically modify potatoes. The curtato crop is now available. Harvesting provides a cure, and then we'll be able to export it to Earth to end the crisis. Though I think it would be kind of hilarious if we just let Earth die. Would also be incredibly mean-spirited, so I guess we won't. Curtatoes, don't they look disgusting? Oh, and they decrease the soil quality by a ton. Ew. Well, we need to grow a lot of these things in order to solve this crisis. Which is one of the reasons that I wanted to have a farming dome ready to go, because I knew this was coming. I really need to get these service bots up and running. This will solve so many problems in the colony, because I can't afford to continue having to worry about non-specialized workers getting around. This is how people are, like, not getting jobs at their infirmary and their diners and stuff like that. Like, it's just terrible. And the people over here, my geologists, are infected. So, like, I really need to have people working at this infirmary non-stop. Please treat their health and keep them alive, for God's sake. Also, we are completely out of local water sources, and this is one of the reasons I needed to have so many moisture vaporators, because I knew this was going to be a problem. So we have blown the whistle on SO Corp, so the second event is now progressing. We're going to reveal this to our citizens and find out what the heck's about to happen. Not sure how they're going to react when they find out that this is going to be a military testing ground and some people with a lot of power are about to be very angry at me. I'd like to think that they're going to be proud. I don't know, though. What is going on with all these homeless citizens, by the way? There's no reason for this. I do, in fact, have plenty of housing. It's acting like they can't find anything. This has always been a frustration, honestly, in this game, that the pathing of all of your people is not always very consistent. So even though they're connected to this dome and there's empty housing, they're too stupid to figure it out. Whoa, this time we do have a meteor storm right on top of us. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I got some lasers nearby, right? They're gonna hit me right where I can't protect, though. Oh, this is about to hurt. No, wait, it still shot it out of the air. Thank you. Good gosh. Gamma 1 has murdered so many renegades. I think she's killed like 7 people. I kid you not. And my population is continuing to drop, by the way. This is, atrocious. Gosh, this is suddenly getting very chaotic. Very chaotic over here. We got meteors. I got military corporations that are trying to muster in on my territory. I've got a disease that is mass murdering my people. Not to mention Earth. I mean, I'm working on these curtatos, but, like, I can only do so much here. Okay, Earth is on its way to pick up the wildfire cure. Cool, so we're gonna have to supply them with fuel, no problem, and with curtatos. Dude, I don't even have enough to take care of my people yet. None of them have finished growing. Whoa! Okay, I saw that meteor come in over here. This one did not get protected. At some point, like, there's a cooldown on these lasers, so they don't always keep up. Also, this literally hit right outside of our range. There was no protecting this. Gosh, dang it, hit same exact spot again. Frickin' heck. We have our service bots, though. Okay, oh my god, okay. Can we please get all this set up so I don't have to have any specialized workers anymore? Costs a stupid number of electronics to do this, though. Ridiculous, even. Okay, the last war has its next event, Peacemaker. Our sponsor has given us a chance to play a role in the peacekeeping efforts. There are a lot of resources that are missing, especially food. I have a lot of food, so we're going to need to start supplying things back to Earth. We knew this was coming. Okay, well, at least now we have all these services working at all times. There's really no reason I can think of not to just let these be on all shifts. That way it can meet everybody's needs, and this should free up a lot of people to go back to college, and then they can get their specialization, and our economy should sort itself out within the next 2 or 3 sols. It all just comes down to these gosh dang curtatos, though. New breakthrough discovered. What did we get? Sustained workload, double the performance when colonists are working a heavy workload. That sounds amazing. Does that double the power of the overtime shifts? I think it does. First round of curtatos have been harvested, by the way, so we should be able to start curing all of my people at least. All right, the rocket from Earth has arrived. They need 60 curtatos. I don't think I have 60 curtatos. How many curtatos we got so far? 29? Okay. I'm making almost no food for myself right now, but the good news is we built up a very large stockpile. Last war, resupply cut off. Yep, there goes all of our resupply from Earth. That's fine. And now we're in a position where I'm going to be losing a lot of water here. I've got 2 hours and 18 souls worth of water. That should barely be enough to survive this electrostatic dust storm. My population has gotten back up to 167, but mostly I'm consuming so much water on these curtatos. That's what's murdering me right now. Like, I would love to take a break and stop growing these dang things, because it costs a lot. And the tensions continue to rise back on Earth. The doomsday clock is looking a little scary now. Okay, we have, I think, all of the potatoes loaded up. Oh, we have to wait for the dust storm, though. I'm sorry, Earth, it's not my fault. We have our sustained workload, though. So now, in theory, people just got a lot more productive. How much more productive? Let's take a look at, let's say, electronics. I think we were at 10 before, so all of a sudden we've jumped up to 13.7. Well, that seems pretty good. What about the polymers? That is, I think it was 7 before, now it's at 10. Yeah, that's pretty effective. And now that we have blown the whistle on ESO Corp, we can't repair any more rovers. Not that I was really doing that anyway. So we're not going to get any more money out of that. I think that still ends up being a good thing for us. I could be wrong. Don't these rovers eventually weaponize and start trying to attack me? So having some already broken down might actually be a good thing. Either that or they're going to send like 10 more on the map, and then I'm going to be in trouble. We are officially out of water. Life support shuts down everywhere. That's horrible. I'm confused. It told me I had 12 hours left. They're talking about down here. That's not helpful. It's fine. I just have to survive for a few more hours. People can make it that long. There we go. And the rocket is off to Earth. Godspeed, everyone. By which I mean Pravus speed. The UN is now putting ESO Corp on trial. The risk was great, but we did the right thing, and we get $1.5 billion in funding. Oh man, everything is hunky-dory. That seems like the end of the event, right? Mm-hmm, totally. Now, some refugees want to escape the war. Decrease war tension, but should the colony support the additional population? Sure, we can handle it. It's no biggie. I'll just build a couple of extra apartments. That'll solve the problem. No, not a cold wave. No, not now. Gosh, dang it. And Earth is coming back requesting more of my curtatos. Gosh, they are greedy for these things. Amazing how death will do that to you, huh? Would it make sense to work towards some of these wonders in the meantime? The Geoscape Dome, space elevator. It's only good if you're gonna do a lot of trade. An excavator for a lot of concrete without needing a deposit certainly sounds nice, and the Mohole mine is obviously very, very good. Artificial sun, interplanetary astronomy. We don't have the electronics for something like that. Dream reality. We'll get behavioral melding first to just go ahead and replace flaws with perks. But yeah, we might be at the stage of the game where it's time to start thinking a bit bigger. How many of these curtatos do I have right now? Only 35. Not enough. Not enough to end the event. It is enough to at least bring the infection level back down to contained. Maybe one more shipment is all we need? Maybe? I have been getting distracted, by the way, with my funding and stuff. I may not have been paying attention. Tell you what, to be safe, let's go ahead and delete 800. I'm also starting to think about where I might want to start placing down open farms. Places like this will be fine, surrounded by lakes, good soil quality gradually building up. We don't need these right now, but once we have this, this will solve all food needs for the rest of the game. Easily. Are we ready to bring in all the refugees? I think the answer has to be yes. Too far from operational domes. Duly noted. There's a blatant lie now gaining traction on Earth. They're saying that I am using the Mars Project as a backdrop for testing weapons. No, that's ESO Corp, not me. I'm gonna submit to a UN inspection. No way. Oh, finally, the second shipment of curtatos is on its way to Earth. Good. We have eradicated the wildfire. Thank God. All right, so now we could just keep getting money for loading more and more curtatos and sending them back to Earth. But we're good. We also got large-scale excavation as a new technology, which is the excavator. Oh. So if we want to start producing a whole load of concrete, we can now. Also, we discovered a mysterious rocket in orbit that wants to touch down but is not communicating with me. Let's observe it for a sol or two. I don't know. Could be a Trojan horse. Might be ESO Corp trying to get back at me. Okay. But for me, it's been about 3.5 hours. It's been another 75 souls in this video. And I think we're in really good shape here. Trying to decide if this is a good place to end this video. We dealt with the major mystery. I'm not seeing anything else. well, hang on. What's the, what is this mystery rocket you spake of? What's going to happen with this thing, I wonder? Can't be good. Yep, there were passengers on board, all dead on examination. We should have let them in immediately. Turns out it was not a Trojan horse. I'm a little on edge because of SOGate, but you know what? Thank you for the free rocket. I mean, it's sad, but I basically just made like $1 billion. So thank you. Anyway, yes, that is where I'm going to end things here. I'm not sure what to expect with these experimental vehicles. I don't remember this event entirely, but I feel like at some point they're going to try to get their vengeance on me. So it's not over, as far as I know, but I don't know how long it's going to be before they do anything. And even if they do, I'm ready for them. We're in a good spot now. As for the wildfire, that is dealt with, and as for the war, tension's not rising, but I'm doing everything I can to keep it under control. If they want me to send them a bunch of food, I'll be able to do that. And in the meantime, our science is really chunking along. The Corix Dome has 135 people living in it, and I'm actually starting to think about expansion, or at the very least, ramping up my terraforming initiatives even further. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and are looking forward to what might be the finale in the next video. I'm not too sure yet. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.